when I landed Apple, just to give you an example of the dynamics in communication. I had an idea for Apple, went out to pitch them. Doug Draper was the guy. We're still acquaintances, friends today. Anyway, he's no longer at Apple, but anyway, I pitched him, and that was about a year later. So you walk me out, and I had about 12 people that I pitched to. Some were sitting on cabinets. There were some were in shorts. Most had flip-flops on. I mean, it was the early days of Apple, Cupertino. It was amazing. The culture was crazy fun. And when Jobs used to have his beer garden right outside. And so Doug walked me out to the door, said, really loved your presentation. And I was in a suit and tie. I was the only,
and they were
having
that
entire office complex, and went out to the car. And I remember he said he'd call. Well, he was really interested in it. It took him a year, and I thought, hey, I blew it. I remember opening up the back door of this tiny little rental car and taking my tie and jacket off and putting it in the back. And I'm like, I suck. That was a terrible presentation. Anyway, a year later, I'm in Boston. We're doing a big college concert back in the days when they sold beer on campus. And I called the office, payphone, and they said, hey, Doug Draper just called and said you need to call him right away. So put my coins in, made the phone call from payphone. He goes, we loved your presentation. I'm sorry it's taken us so long, but we want to hire you.
Wow.
And it was one of our biggest accounts. So I had Miller, which is a giant account. Apple became a giant account. And that we started growing the heck out of the business with those two. And so, it was, those were, I can't remember the original question. Sorry.
I think that was right on track with what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I was just going to add on to it, how the dynamic has changed we were talking about in pitching and stuff.
Yeah.
If I was to pitch a company right now, I'd find somebody on LinkedIn that has a high up certificate at a company and just email them or something and get on a Zoom call. I feel like that's how it is today.
Yeah.
It was so much different in that.
Way different. You had to really go out. You had to be in person and pitch, and really, it was just a different process. But I remember one of the questions you were asking about was, how do you keep everything in some kind of order on all the things you have to do when you're building a business? And there's a zillion ideas that go through your head.
Yeah.
Well, so again, it was before cell phones and everything, and I got into the habit of taking a legal pad and just writing down, filling every single line, numbering them. And then as things went off the list, and enough of them, I'd rewrite that entire list, because I'd be pages of ideas, things that I needed to do, some kind of blocking and tackling stuff that I needed to get done with an accountant and whatever. Others were just crazy ideas. I came across one of my, I used to save all my ideas, as crazy as they were. Had a whole binder filled with pages and pages of ideas. And I ran across them. I don't know where they are now. I know they're packed somewhere, but I'm going, God, that most of the ideas sucked, but there were a few really outstanding ideas. I'm going, damn, if I were to really get back into building another business, there's some decent ideas. They're still relevant and whatever. But that legal pad, and then, kind of went to, your iPhone and then just writing list stuff. I have lists in my phone on everything. Stuff I need from the hardware store to well, now it's pretty, ordinary stuff. But yeah, but that legal pad filled with things I needed to do was my kind of rudder on how I managed that business. And then you'd find out all sorts of things. I mean, they're just all over the place, that our employees, maybe one of them back in the early days when we only had 20-some employees or something, somebody was buying a car or buying a refrigerator or getting a new place or getting married, whatever. I would always be tracking anything that people would be doing so I could help them in some way. And, whether it was, I've made, back in the day where you could do a interest-free loan to somebody, I would just give them an interest-free loan and they just pay me back. It was their, a new car, or that was probably the most exotic. I didn't buy houses for anybody. But I gave down payments on all sorts of stuff, and they paid me back. Well, that goes a long way.
Yeah.
When those people are out just, talking to some of the other employees, and in that I want them to go and tell them I, helped them out with a little free loan on some stuff. But they were just going, this is the place to be. This is the place to work, and that just keeps building on itself. And if you just treat people well and respectful and, whatever, it's going to come back in multiple factors.
Very interesting. So would that notebook that you take all those notes in, would you check that like every morning, every night, or throughout the day?
Throughout the day, all the time. I'm going, I check the ones, and then, it's a process you go through. You get into this groove, and